Well. What do you know? The old StreamYard is a working today. So we should get a good mic level. Thanks for being here. I am still. I apologize. I am still in recovery mode from last night. I just did not have a good night's sleep at all. And you may be able to actually hear it in my voice, a little raspy today, but man, it's brutal. But I'm here to tell the tale. I hope everyone else out there got a reasonable night's rest. Because if you didn't, then you'd be rowing in the same boat I am, and you don't want to be rowing in that boat. That would be rowing and departing, not Rowan and Martin, Rowan and departing. I always thought Rowan and Martin was really overrated, even as a kid. I had a pretty good sense of humor as a kid, and I thought Rowan and Martin was kind of dumb. It was like, hey, let's get together and let's have a hipster show. It'll be so totally cool and hipster and kind of LA mod and a little flower power. And, we'll get the youth vote. We'll get the youth coming in here and checking out Laugh In. Laugh In was just really laugh out. It wasn't that funny at all. Every now and then you'd come across like a blackout skit that was okay, but let's be honest. It didn't hold up well over time. Am I right? I think I'm right. The joys of laughing. Okay. Let's see. No. We don't want that. We want this right here. You remember back in the old days when they would have drop-down menus? It didn't matter if the first country was Andorra or Afghanistan. It was always the United States. That was the first drop-down. Come on. Now we got to go through all the other drop downs. Here we go. Back in the saddle again. Let's do that. Right there. Da-da-da. Right there. Right there. Okay, here we go. So we got July 29th, 2025. How the hell is everybody? Pardon me if I'm not my loquacious self today. I got under the weather on Friday. And then after that, I was just completely out of it all weekend. So let's see, where are we? It is kind of a drag. And I don't really get sick per se. Not like I used to as a kid. But I get into these really low energy kinds of funks. And then all I want to do is sleep. It's for like hours and hours on end, which I know isn't always the best thing for you. But there's a time when it actually works. Okay, I think we're all lined up and ready to go. Thanks for your patience. And by the way, we can spend a little more time here doing the Astro Weather since I have taken a break from 15 minutes of flame, yes, to finish a book, a long-awaited book. That's right. Yours truly has decided to go forth and conquer. It always helps if you have a book. You know what I mean? Author of such and such and such and such. I mean, it could be the biggest piece of shit. But as long as you're an author, people say, oh, well, author. They're an author of X, Y, and Z. And sometimes that's just good enough to get you on a show, believe it or not. I don't want to hear myself. Okay, I have one tiny Robert didn't get nearly enough sleep last night. Error. And here we go. All right, we are complete. El completo, as they say here in the hill country. All right, let's see what we have here. Let me go back into the old Chatteroo. Okay, who do we have? We have, let's see, Healing Heart Rosie checking that box, number 1. Numero uno. Scrubbies, way up front. Look at that. The name called Joan S., the lovely and talented one. Benito Diaz. What's going on, brother? Today, your star of the day is your namesake. Devin Dewar. She's at the Jersey Shore. Look at Devin. Miss Cosmopolitan. Misbehaving too is your Diane Evans. Let's see. Josie's Jazzy Junk. I'm not a lion, but that thumbnail as we reach for a bowl of frosted flakes. They're both great. Yeah. Laura E's here. Hi, Laura. Lemma Spang. Carol Young checking in from Liverpool. What's up, Carol? Good to see you. Brandy Herrera. Noel Way. Big Bill Smith. What's up, Bill? Let's see what else we have here. Cosmic Detective. Love the sound of that. Janice Phillips. Amy Gill. Wit's Entropy. What's up, Wit? You're surviving the last days of Ruidosa. Amy Gill is here. Hi, Amy. That'd be a good name for a book, The Last Days of Ruidosa. Tom, yes. Tom bringing the vital information here. Want to get a reading, that's where you go with yours truly. Let's see. What else do we have here? Glemma. Let's see. You guys can hear me now, right? You can hear me now. I'm sure you can. Hit that like, please. Thank you, Integrity and Karma. Why did he say cosmic? Because we have a cosmic detective amongst us. That's why. Cosmic detective, not comic detective. but cosmic detective. That is why I said it. Sharon Lewis. Hi, Sharon. Good to see you. You're welcome, Wit. Let's see. Oh, Robert Phoenix. Hey, there's that guy. What's up, Robert? Good to see you. Let's see. Mary Mags. Hey, Mary Mags. Mary Lee. Who's here? I'm going to be headed out to Nashville. Sometime early September, late August. Nashville, here I come. Let's see who else we have here. Elsbeth Tarrant. Hi, Elsbeth. Marquez, there's my man. What's going on, Marquez? Green Eyed Crow. Mary Mags. Did I say Mary Mags? Mary, you get 2 Marys today. How about 3 Marys? We'll do 3 Hail Marys. Sandra Jack Shaw. Traveler, time traveler. Thanks for being here. You're welcome. Being here was not easy today. I had to work through some shit to get here today. Let's see. Brand here. Last night hardly slept. Last night was so fucked for sleeping. I can't even begin to tell you. It was bad. Raj and Boo, what's up, party person? Kelly B, Green Eyed Crow. Neil Smith, the big cheese, aka the most interesting man in Wisconsin. Let's see. Joan W. Hi, Joan W. Stephanie Hunter. Missed you last night. Sunday night. Feel better. Yeah, Sunday night there was no way I was going to do Sunday night. I was at about 40% capacity. Salty Cow. Hey, what's up, Joe? We'll throw that up there. It's a nice call to action. Appreciate that. Let's see. Are we done yet? Christina Maria. We had 3 Christinas, 2 Christinas. Christina Jersey and Christina Maria. Hello, Christina Maria. Integrity and Karma. Deanna, here for the live. Bad sleep last night, too. Are we all part of the same club? What the fuck? Liddy Lou. It's not Liddy. Let's see. Who else do we have here? Anybody else hanging? We got hanging in. Kobe at the Union Defector. Hit you live. Good. Glad you're here with us. Renee Gégé de Blanc, the creative one. RH Note, trying to get anyone to check out Astro chart of 1/19/26. The Astro chart is super strong. Yes, it's coming in. That's when we have the Neptune-Saturn conjunction, if I'm not mistaken. Marie Dimanche. Coco Studios. I like that, Coco Studios. Desley Longa. I think we're caught up. S. Lee, Park Avenue leads to Skid Row. Ain't that something? Vikash Kale, one who's sleep as well. What is going on here? You know, it's starting to feel like Dark City. You guys know that movie? If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's great. Terrible sleep last night. Well, at least I'm not alone. Thank God. I was feeling stranded last night. Totally stranded. It was like I was being punished or something. Or burning off karma or some shit like that. Well, that's good. I'm glad that that's not the case. Okay, so let's get into the weather. We have a little bit more time today since we're not running off. That's always a good thing. Now, here, this is going to say Zinzi, but it's not Zinzi. It's now. Okay, so if you see the name Zinzi, don't freak out. Oh, there's now right there. I managed to get rid of the Zinzi part. Okay, here we go. Zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. It's time for the Astro Weather. No matter how things are, you know they're going to get better. There we go. All right. Mercury and the sun moving closer and closer and closer. We're within a 4-degree orb right now. Ooh. Feels very defensive, doesn't it? A lot of defensive energy. Lot of defensive energy, a lot of defending positions. It's going to get very interesting out there. Justifications. Very interesting stuff. Secrets are coming to light, especially as we look into the 12th house today, as we do every day. You know, I kind of like the fact that we get to hang out here in the 12th house because it's like our own private Idaho, but it also gives us access to deeper spaces and places. And it certainly feels like, whoop, there it is. Whoop, there it is. Whoop that trick. I don't know. It doesn't feel. Here's what I'll say. Make sure you get a good sense of humor. That goes for everybody. But as far as the so-called elites go, egg meat face. We got an egg meat face moment here. The thing, here's the beautiful thing about Trump. The beautiful thing about Trump is that you never know when he's lying or telling the truth. It's a masterful kind of exercise in subjective morality. You never know. But what's happened is that it feels to me like, for the most part, that is a condition now that's spread throughout our society. And people have always found, the legalese to kind of skirt around the subject or, bend the syntax a little bit. Today, in the next few days, it's going to be painfully clear that there is a madness to the methodology, and we're about to see it all here. It's going to be very, very interesting. In terms of the individual side of things, let's just use the sun as the heart and Mercury as the head, because they're both in Leo. And I feel like we're going to have this crossover. The Mercury goes to 4, and there's that sweet spot where they're at 6-6, 6-5, 6-4, coming back to 6. And that 6th degree, what is that in the Sabian symbols? Let's look that up. That's an important degree. We're going to go 6-7. We're going to look at them both. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so Leo 6, a conservative, old-fashioned lady is confronted by a hippie girl. The need to transcend our subservience to fashion in morals as well as clothes. All right. Let's just take a look at like what's around 6:30, 6:45. The constellations of stars shine brightly in the night. Let's use this one right here. The constellation of stars shine brilliantly in the night. Keynote: the power of basic spiritual values, which refer to man's common humanity and all enduring archetypes. The experience of the night sky with its multitude of stars, especially brilliant in all the countries from which astrology came, is just as basic and archetypal as experience as that of sunrise, full moon, and seasonal changes. Every people on this earth has developed the concept of constellations, probably because of a need to find order in existence and to personalize everything that can be given a permanent form. Such personalizations can be called psychic projections, but the projection concept should be worked out both ways. If man projects his basic human form upon the star-filled night, is it not just as logical to say that the universe projects its ever-evolving patterns of order upon human nature? In either case, we deal with the archetypal factors which endure through a long series of generations. This second stage symbol once more stands in perfect contrast to the preceding one. The nearly unchanging patterns of star groups are opposed to the sequence of ever-changing fashions and social ideals. The key word here is permanence. Well, this is an interesting symbol, isn't it? As we have Mercury retrograding, coming back, and eventually catching up and banging into Leo 7, which we believe will happen, even though check the ephemera here because, we got to be right. In Virgo land, we got to be right. So let's go into Augusto. All right. So that's 4. The sun is at 18. We're not going to catch that Sabian symbol until the 19th. Okay. So keep your eye on the 19th. That's a beautiful Sabian symbol. On the 11th, the Sabian symbol is at 18. 18. Let's see what we got here. It's going to be on the other side. 18. Well, it won't quite be direct, but it'll be direct, but different. Okay. 18. A chemist conducts an experiment for his students. An inquiry into the hidden process of nature, the human mind experiences the thrill of discovery. That's nice. I like the other one better. The other one is definitely way better. The other one is like, hey, let the stars inform you. Let them shine through you. You can do that, Get out there somewhere where there's not a lot of ambient light and hopefully not too many mosquitoes. And you could lay on the ground and you could look up at a planet or you could look at a star or a star system and you can embody it. You can let it come into you. You can connect with that celestial and cosmic energy. There is no difference between out there and in there. It is all connected. This is what the ancients knew, right? This is what the ancients knew. So for some of you out there, you got these nice August nights coming where you may be able to spend some time outdoors and just commune with the sky and allow yourself to embody these celestial points of light, either through their beautiful geometry of the constellations or the planets themselves. Could be interesting. Could be a very interesting exercise. Okay, why don't we get back to the chart of the moment here? I went off on a little bit of a tangent, didn't I? But I think you might have enjoyed it. Okay, so here we go. Nice grand trine today. Is that right? Is that the right day? Oh my gosh, look at that. Got the Libra moon. You know, I feel like last night we had that moon Mars conjunction going on. Fuck. I think that is the root of the restlessness. Is that moon Mars conjunction in Virgo? You know, I'm usually pretty okay with my life. It's like after a while, you stop making stupid decisions. And it's like, yeah, you know, there's not a whole lot to reconcile. Every now and then you fuck up a little bit. You know, yeah, I should have done that better. But last night, it was like past life review. It was like, oh. Moon Mars conjunction. Well, we're out of that Moon Mars conjunction. And now we're in sunny Libra, where we have a nice trine to Uranus and a nice trine to Pluto. And that is a very harmonic way of channeling a lot of really interesting energy. I would say today is an artistic day. It's artistic and creative, right, Peaches? You want to come up here? Hey, you want to come up here? Want to be artistic and creative? Hey, come on over here. Come say hi to your peeps. Come on. Give me a little Libra moon. Here you go. Here's a little Libra moon. Little artistic, creative Libra moon. Yeah. You've had enough? All right, you've had enough. Anyway, today's a good day for it. And you don't have to try very hard either. Some days there are natural rhythms, and even there's a lot of jagged energy in the air. This Moon Uranus Pluto trine. And the thing about the Moon in Libra is it's cardinal, but if you let it come to you, it works really, really well. Okay, we also have Mars coming in the back door of that trine. Give Mars like 5 more days. Look out. We'll have a Mars-Uranus trine, Mars-Pluto trine. That's going to be a really interesting period. Really, really. I feel like that Mars-Uranus trine has social justice written all over it. All over it. Whatever is going to happen during that time, it will not go unnoticed. I can tell you that right now. Let's see. We got the Sun Mercury conjunction, which we were talking about. And like I said, I think that was kind of rough. I mean, what was more rough? The Sun Mercury conjunction? Do you think that was rough? Yeah, she thought that was rough. Or the Moon Mars. I think it was Moon Mars. That's just restlessness. But I keep coming back. That's really weird. I keep coming back to scenes from my childhood with this Mercury moon. Anybody else going through that? Is there anybody else out there like just randomly replaying scenes from your childhood? They've been coming up a lot lately. Anyway, so that's part of this Mercury retrograde as well. And the other thing too, look, I don't want us to devolve into, puer eterni and be children forever. But there is something with that Mercury retrograde of the sun about recreation and learning how to de-stress and doing things that are fun. They're in the hobby space. I started talking about that a couple of weeks ago. I'm still there. It's like at one point in time, the pool hall was kind of cool. It wasn't always seedy, right? The pool hall was one of those places where it was literally kind of cool. They had a funky air conditioner, but they had one nonetheless. And it was a low lit bar. They had one, maybe two pool tables. They had probably one of those shuffleboards with the sawdust on it, maybe a pinball machine, and then they had a bar. And it wasn't always a mixed bar. Sometimes it was just a beer bar in a pool hall because the license was easier to get. Do you remember those places? I think I'm still around. But you could go there and, usually it's pretty cool scene. Wasn't like you were going to get jacked up by the Hells Angels or anything. It just feels like it feels like shelter from the storm right now. Feels like shelter from the storm, especially with this heat. Go find yourself a decent pool hall in your neighborhood. Rack up a few games. Have some fun. Life's a lot of heavy lifting now. Every now and then we got to just tap out, hang out with some friends, have a good time, reconnect with, why we're here. We have all this AI shit and all these new AI friends. And I have never had a conversation with ChatGPT. I never will. I've asked Grok a couple of questions, but they were like more like fact check. I have no desire to have a philosophical discussion with ChatGPT. Please. I'd rather go out with some friends and, talk shit. And we may have a lesser conversation, but I don't care. Right? The more that we get into 4D and 5D, the more I want to get into 3D. And that doesn't mean I won't put this other stuff away. It's part of what I do. But it's nothing like real human contact. In a like when I went up to McKinney and I hung out with Liddy Lou and her crew, that was real human contact. That was you can't buy that. You know what I mean? You just can't buy that kind of connection and people and audience and good vibes. You can't. You could probably go into Meta and try and build it, but it's never, ever, ever going to be the same. Never going to be the same. So we still have that Sun trine to Uranus, sextile to Uranus, and Sun trine to Saturn, Neptune. Just take that little extra effort, right? Find the creative notch where you can hook into other people. Although that sounds a little risque, doesn't it? We have Venus and Gemini. Fine, look at it, 28 degrees. That could be a little loosey-goosey. Anybody out there into spontaneous 1 hour stands? Venus and Gemini might be just what you're looking for. Now we got the square to Uranus. The square, I mean, it's spicy. Don't get me wrong. This Venus Mars square up is spicy, right? Spicy. But it also is in square with Neptune and Saturn. And how real is it? Not very. Not very. I'll tell you what I do like, though, is Jupiter finally starting to separate from Saturn. Let's check in with Jupiter on Friday. I will go on the record that there will be some kind of either decision or resolution with Jerome Powell and Jupiter moving outside of that 10-degree orb of Neptune Saturn. I'm on the record Friday. In which case, the housing market might, and I say might, pick up a bit here. Although, after watching this documentary on BlackRock, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how much of a chance we stand against BlackRock. We've got Moon, Pluto, Uranus trine. You know what that is? That's like intensity of feeling without getting too heavy. I kind of like that. I kind of like it. It's kind of like, I don't know, Karen Valentine from Room 222. Intensity of feeling, but kind of goofy. Let's see what else we have here. We got Mars coming into that grand trine. Not quite there yet. Give it 4 days. Give Mars 4 days, and let me tell you, the energy is about to pick up in a big way, like going from 0 to 60 in like 3 flat. You're going to be running to keep up with yourself. We got a Pluto Chiron square. You know what that feels like to me? It feels like somebody that's unjustly killed. Keep your eye on that. Keep your eye on strange murders in the public space. Aries, usually gun, rifle, or gun, blade. I don't like it. And I don't like the inconjunct with Mars either. It has a little bit of a psychotic energy, to be honest with you. And lastly, let's leave off with the Venus-Neptune square. You can be anybody you want to be. But guess what? You're going to wake up the next day and you're going to have a Venus-Saturn square, and you're going to remember who you are, who you were, and maybe who it is that you're waking up next to. Right? So, yeah, you can pretend. You can pretend all you want with the Venus-Neptune square. But the Venus-Saturn square is like, yeah, but that's not really who you are. Lots of activity today. We got a grand trine. We got a mystic rectangle. Look at that. We got a reverse kite. We got plenty of oppositional energies. Moon, Neptune opposition. Kill them with kindness. If you're going to kill them with kindness. Mars, Neptune opposition. Watch out for the addictions. Watch out for over medicating today. So there's a lot of pitfall energy, but there's also a lot of tremendous creative, outside the box, really, really good energy. So, hey, life's what you make it, right? There's a lot of life there. I'll tell you that right now. Okay. I always lose people in the start of the day, but let's see what we got here. Maybe I extended it out so far that I didn't lose many peeps. What do we got here? Dun, dun, dun. Dun, 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 dun. Right there. Hey, not too bad. We got 227. Look at that. All right, you're gonna want to stick around for this. This is Benito Mussolini. He's your True Hemp Science star of the day. And True Hemp Science, of course, is your one-stop shop. All your CBD needs, all you got to do is go right here to this place. Type in 15-MINS after you spend $100 more on some of the finest organically sourced CBD in the country. Why? Because it was named the #1 CBD purveyor in Austin. Austin is one of the top 10 cities in the country. Do the math. It's right up there. And our friend Chris is an alchemist. 150 gets you free shipping, always a 30-day money-back guarantee. All right. You know, when I see Benito Mussolini's chart, and when I see this, you know, and this guy he was a jolt of energy. Now, he comes out of a very interesting sort of background in Italy, right? I mean, whenever you get into Italy, you can't have a conversation about Italy unless you're talking about the mafia and crime. And Mussolini's got those connections, right? But he also is involved in the army and he makes his way up through the ranks of both, right? So by the time World War II comes around, he is kicking ass and taking names. Now, Mussolini's problem is he got involved with Hitler. That's the big problem. Now, if he had played it a bit more like Franco, he would have maybe, or Tito, maybe would have been able to continue on as the leader of Italy, but he did not. And what he did is he committed troops to North Africa, right? There's your ninth house for Mr. Mussolini. And he was apparently, when you read the accounts of Rommel and the Americans in North Africa and the Italians are there, the Italians are just kind of in the way, right? They're not very effective when it comes to the desert fighting. So they wind up going deeper into places like Eritrea, Ethiopia, Somalia. Like these are the areas that Italy kind of colonizes during World War II. They're less into fighting and more into colonizing, which I find interesting. It was almost like fighting was an excuse for colonization, but they weren't very good at it. And but you can see with Sun, Mercury in the ninth house in Leo, he wants to go out into the world, the big world, and be a conqueror. I'm not sure he really aligned all that intensely with Hitler. Of course, they joined forces, but I think it was the wrong idea for Mussolini. This is a guy that has no planets below the horizon. So he's all action. He's all like, fuck the subjectivity. I'm just going objective and I'm in, right? So over here, we have Venus and Jupiter in Cancer. And to me, that is like the colonization energy. You know what I mean? Like, do I get a ton of war out of this chart? No, I don't. Right? It's almost like he's into it for fashion or something. You know, it's like there's this term for dudes when they go to pick up women. It's called peacocking. right? And that's what I get with Mussolini. He's kind of a peacock. He's playing a costume role. I mean, look at him. That's like a costume fucking role. And over here, Venus Jupiter, I think he's much more interested in what he can find behind the scenes and what kind of living situation or colonization situation that he can muster. Personally, I don't think he's got a taste for war. Does he have a taste for power? Absolutely. 100%. But he doesn't really have a taste for war. Let's zoom in on that seventh house. Now, could he be an asshole and hate people? I'm sure he could. So, all right, let's check this out. Mars, Moon. What else we have here? Juno, Saturn, Ceres, Chiron, Pluto, Neptune. Neptune's in Taurus and stuff, but that's all in Gemini. That is all in freaking Gemini. And then he's got sextiles going on with Sun, Mercury, with Chiron, Ceres, Saturn, even all the way up to the moon. He's got the ability to be, for lack of a better term, a bit of a shapeshifter, right? Like he can look one way to some group and one way to another group. I'll tell you what he doesn't have. He doesn't have much Earth rather. He's got Neptune and Taurus, negligible. Uranus and Taurus, or Virgo rather, negligible. So not a lot of Earth. I mean, this guy is running off of, air and butane. You could tell he's got the energy, right? He's got the air and the fire. But the thing with air and fire is that you can get things moving, right? But you can't always keep them moving. Because at a certain point, the air and the fire burn out. And so you need people around you that have some earth that could keep from going scorched earth. True note in Scorpio. Yeah, so he's here to understand the nature of power and the nature of manifestation. Magic with an ICK. And then the South Node in Taurus in the sixth house, not very good for working every day. So this is a guy who would have been much better, even though he has the sun in the ninth house, he'd be much better behind the scenes giving orders. Easy. No problem. Now, the fifth house is where we get into some war. That's where we run into Aries, and he has Pallas there. I think he's got a pretty good head for what's coming in terms of conflict. But I just don't get that this is the chart of a great generalissimo. Although Sagittarians make pretty good generals, even though he's a Sun Leo in the ninth house. But he's a bit of a crazy motherfucker, isn't he? He could flip on you on a dime, and he's restless. He's got that Mars-Jupiter conjunction. Now, this is a guy who couldn't sleep. I can tell you that right now. He's probably going to sleep more than 2 or 3 hours a night. But Benito Mussolini, interesting character, rose to power on the back of crime families, got into the government, became the de facto dictator of Italy, and then, of course, he gets hanged. Oh, geez, where's his Neptune? It's right there in the conjunction of Algol. Yep. Somebody had to take the fall, didn't they? Somebody had to take the fall. Someone had to take the noose. Well, Mr. Neptune conjunct Algol played out his part. It's a very odd chart, isn't it? I mean, really, it's a bundle chart. If you go with 10th, 9th, 8th, 7th, that's it. That's what this guy's here to do. Uranus in the 10th is not easy. I mean, if you're going to be a revolutionary, which in some ways he was, Uranus in the 10th house can really work for you. So all you Uranian people, 10th house out there, hey, your time is coming. Your time is coming. If you're looking to get into the revolution career, your time is coming. Don't worry about it. It's on its way. All right, that's it. That's our True Hemp Science star of the day. Benito, he's like an actor. Isn't he? Doesn't he feel like an actor? He feels more like an actor than a real son of a bitch head of state, although I'm sure he could be that too. Okay, that's it. Thanks for being here. Appreciate each and every one of you. You know the drill. Hit the like, subscribe. We'll be back tomorrow. And what's Friday? Let me check my Friday calendar. Oh, got a Russ Winter sighting on this Friday. All right. So Russ will be with us August 1st. Famous birthday, August 1st. Jim Carroll of the Jim Carroll Band. Those are people who died. They were all my friends. They died. Well, today you're living. Reaffirm that once more with a feeling. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Treat each other well. God bless. Love you all. I'll be back tomorrow. No 15 minutes. I'm working in a different direction for the next month. All right. Take care. Bye for now.